everyone, and welcome to A1R Psychic Radio, Moonstruck TV. You can find me at gailmoffat.com and Gail Moffat on Facebook, or Gail Moffat Spiritualist Medium and Teacher. So I've got 2 Facebook accounts. So do find me if you want to communicate with me further. Now, we've got an interesting show, I'm sure. We're going to take 2 callers a bit later on. But first, before I take any calls, I'd like to talk to you about something that is very close to my heart. Now, for most of us, we're quite lucky. We have a roof over our heads, we've got food in our stomachs, and we're warm, when it's cold, or we're cool when it's hot, and we've got clothes. And it may be that we don't have a lot of money, but at least we've got those basic needs met. But sadly, for some people, they don't have those basic needs. And those basic needs, what I'm talking about, is the homeless. I live in England, and in England, in many of the cities, we see people begging on the streets. And it's almost epidemic, where people do not have a roof over their head. Now, I don't want to cast any aspersions as to why they're homeless, but I just want to say that there is a problem that does exist. And I'm sure for the viewers and listeners that are in America, that they are aware of this same problem in your cities, and also in Australia and anywhere else that people are listening, because I think it's something that is worldwide, where some people just don't have proper accommodation or living situation to provide for themselves. And I want to tell a story about how one day I met somebody who was homeless, and I'm going to call his name John. That's not his real name, but just to protect him, I'm going to call him John. And this was in the early days as me, when I was actually developing my mediumship, and I was working in a lot of the local churches, and I would be up and down the coast in the south of England, going to different churches. And often on my way back, I would get a call from John saying, "Oh, I've got a bit of a problem tonight, and it's cold, and can you help me?" And I would turn my car round, and off I'd go into Brighton and go and see him, and perhaps get him some accommodation, get him something to eat. And this went on for some time. And whilst I would see him, I would always say to him, "Now, please get some help, because there's help out there. Let's get some help for drug and alcohol," because in his circumstances, that was his problem. But the root cause was actually he'd lost his father. And I think a lot of it all stemmed from his grief from his father. And I always say that 2 wrong moves, and it could be any one of us in that situation. And for him, he was an intelligent man, and his pain just took him to this space. Eventually, he did take my advice, and he went into rehab, and he managed to go the 6 weeks that was needed before he was allowed to make any phone calls. And after those 6 weeks, he made 2 phone calls. One was to his mum, and one was to me, to say thank you. And that's something that really touched me and will always be dear to my heart. And I know that, I guess what I'm saying is that I don't know what he's doing now, but I know that he went through that program, and I hope that he's all right today. And I just thankful that I was in a position to help him at that time in his life, which was very difficult. And this is something that often happens to a medium, because spirit will guide us to the difficult situations. And it's something that's just perhaps a little bit thought-provoking for you today, and maybe it's something that you may want to think about the next time you see a homeless person. There are many reasons as to why they are homeless, and it's not just not so nice situations. It can be very different situations for people. But anyway, something to think about. Now, I think I want to go to a caller, and now I have a Athena in Piedmont. I think I've pronounced that correctly, and that's in South Carolina. Are you there?
Yes.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very well, and it's quite late here, so you must be about 8 o'clock or 8:05 in the evening.
Yes.
So how can I help you?
I have a question. I have been living in Piedmont on and off basically all my life. My mom and dad raised me a gypsy because we moved around a lot. I don't feel like I belong in South Carolina. I feel like I belong somewhere else. I just don't know where. And I'm not happy with the job I have. And I'm looking for something else. What kind of direction do I need to go in?
Right. Right, well, the first thing that I want to say is that you have a grandmother in the spirit world. And she's just talking to me and saying that she wants to help you in this situation, because this is something that you've been very confused about for some time. Yeah. And I feel that I could almost go back into your childhood where you felt like you'd been planted into the wrong family. Would you understand that? And I also know that you've got quite a psychic disposition yourself. Would you agree with that?
Yes, a little bit.
Because I know that you have a lot of intuition and feel things, and I know that if you were to be in the right hands of somebody to get the right development, you could do exceptionally well, because it's in your blood and it follows your bloodline. There are many people in your family that have the ability to see things, like a clairvoyantly, or hear things clairaudiently. My grandmother was a medium and a psychic, and she used to read the tea leaves, and so I know that it comes from that line, and it's something that it's often inherited. So I know that you have this within you, and this may be something that you may want to think about as you move forward in your life. And first and foremost, because I feel it's like spirits are gathering around you at this point, because great changes need to happen in your life. And when I say that, I know that these changes are the reason why you're feeling restless is because spirits are around you. And they are wanting to take you in a different direction, because you, I feel, are going to be working in a spiritual nature. Now, when I say spiritual nature, you see, that can be in many guises. I always think that, say, a nurse or a doctor or some sort of health healer or a teacher or anybody of that nature that nurtures others are in fact light workers, and they work for spirit. And so I know that you are, it's like what I'm hearing is you are needed by spirit, and you have this ability that needs to be expressed. And this is what's making you feel restless and uncomfortable, and where do I need to be? And also, I feel that a lot of the people that you are around, that you know personally, obviously some you resonate with, in case they're listening. But I do feel...
No, nobody's listening.
Okay. I do feel that a lot you don't resonate with.
Exactly.
And it's like you feel like, I almost want to say an alien in a country where it's like, why are you all so different from me? Is what I'm getting. And your grandmother, she is... Now this is interesting. This is something that I know that you may or may know about this, but I'm seeing... I want to go back in time in America, right back to when people were settling in America, and I'm seeing the old-fashioned the wagons, that are round, going along the top, drawn by a horse, and I'm seeing those, and I know that you've got that back in your history if you go back in time.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you? Are you aware of this in your family?
A very little bit, yes.
And I know that I'm being told, and you see, I know that I'm going into territory where you can't actually evidence, but Spirit are wanting to work with me in this way, so there's a reason. So I'll just go with this. But I'm being told that you have got some very interesting ancestors. Your ancestors took on great challenges as they migrated across the earth. And I feel that I've got a lady that's... I know you can't evidence this, and normally in my mediumship I get people a bit more current, but I've got a lady here with a long, dark, black dress, and sort of, looking like she's from that era, and she's just saying to me, this is my... I don't know how many greats, but great-granddaughter. It's like great-great-granddaughter or something like that. I don't know how many greats, but she's one of your ancestors. And she's saying, it's interesting. I know why she's come through. Because she left from where she used to live and came to a new country and settled. Because where she was, she's had the experience that you're having. You're feeling restless. You're feeling like that your job doesn't serve you well, and you're feeling like you want to make changes. And she had the same feelings herself. She needed that change in her life to be more fruitful for her. And this is why she went on this massive, massive journey. And I feel from the other side of the world. And I'm not sure whereabouts in the world she migrated from. Probably from England, but I don't know. It's going to be probably from Europe. But I'm certainly seeing this lady who's migrated and went through some quite traumatic times in that when she migrated. And she's saying to me, it's Germany, right?
I think.
And she's saying to me that she is going to help you in your pursuits because you've got your eye on another state. Would you understand that?
No. Well, I mean, I've thought about 2 other states, but not to a point of where I really, this is where I want to be. It's just more curiosity.
Yeah. And maybe she's picked up on that curiosity of a couple of other states. But she's saying that, if it, what I'm always told by Spirit is we either, often they say, oh, this is your free will. And then sometimes they'll say to me, it's set in stone. So when it's all established in the spirit world that this is happening, they'll say to me, it's set in stone. At the moment, they're saying to me, this is your free will. And they're saying to me that it's your free will to choose where you're going. But this lady is here to help you. And she will help you migrate to a different state. And I feel that this is something that is going to empower you more. And I feel that the reason why you're feeling all this restlessness and why you feel that you should be going to a new place is simply because Spirit are nudging you. And particularly this lady, she's around you and wanting to help you. So this is all in the early stages of your free will. So I cannot be specifically predictive with it, but this can happen if you want it. And I keep on being drawn to the state of Illinois.
I have no idea.
No, well, it keeps on popping up in my head. Illinois. So I don't know why.
I have friends that are from there, and people I used to work with that are from there, but I've never even thought about it.
Yeah, well, maybe that's a start. But it kept on coming up, so I have to give it to you. Does that help you much?
Yeah. How will I know when she's helping me? Or
she's helping you now. She's around you.
Okay.
And I know, and purely the reason why she's come forward and somebody that you don't recognise, because normally we when we do mediumship, we're looking at, a grandmother or an uncle or auntie, mum or dad or something like that. But for some reason, I've gone right into your ancestry, because she experienced what you're experiencing now, that restlessness and needed to move. So she's the perfect person to help you as you move to your next destination. So the very fact that you've got Spirit around you wanting to help you is, in my opinion, an indication that this will happen.
Okay.
And I keep on hearing Illinois again. Illinois.
I hate cold weather. Illinois is a very cold place, and I hate cold weather. But
isn't it supposed
that's
to be
where I need to be. I guess that's where I'm going to be.
Yeah. Well, things aren't. I've been told things aren't set in stone, so there's still your free will at this stage.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting short of time, so I'm going to have to leave it there. So Athena, thank you very much for your time, and I'm going to move on now. Thank you. Hello, is Dee in New Hampshire there?
Yes, hi, this is Dee.
Hi Dee, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. And yourself?
Oh, very well, thanks. How can I help you?
I was wondering if you can give me any briefings from anybody in my past that can see into what may be in the future.
From people in your past, did you say?
People that have passed.
Oh, that have passed. Is
Yes.
there anybody in particular? We've only got 8 minutes. Is there anybody in particular you'd like me to connect with?
My mother or my sister.
Your mother has come straight in. She's straight in here with me. And she's got quite a twinkle in her eye, because I almost want to say she was quite a gal. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
And she's somebody that liked. She had style about her, and she liked to. It's almost like I want to be a society girl or something like that. I go to events or parties and things like that. And
yes.
Would you remember that about her?
Yes.
A very elegant, glamorous woman, beautiful as well. She always had things, hair done, makeup, nails, and everything like that. Yeah?
Yes.
And she says that she taught you well, because I feel that there were times where she would show you how to do things with your makeup and your hair and things like that.
It was a very long time ago, but and I don't have much memory, but yes.
But I know that if you were to open up her, and I'm using the word closet, that's like a wardrobe, isn't it? If you were to open up her wardrobe, I've been given the word closet. Is that what you would use in America, the word closet, instead of wardrobe? Okay. So I've been given the word closet. If you were to open up her closet, you would see some of the most beautiful gowns, long dresses, and where she would, carefully keep, and she would have them in sort of, in wrappers and always cleaned and nice.
Yes.
Do you remember?
Yes.
And I know that, and I want to go into her home, and I feel that the home was quite elegant as well. She always liked to keep it well. And it feels like she may have had somebody come in to help her as well.
Actually, I think that may be her sister, my aunt.
Right, yes.
Because she has passed also.
Yeah. Your mother is just turning her head now, and she's looking at somebody, and this other lady is coming forward, and your mother's just encouraging her to come forward. Chalk and cheese, I feel I want to say about the two sisters. Would you understand that?
Yes,
it's an English expression. I don't know if you understand that. So you understand it. Chalk and cheese, as elegant as your mum was, the aunt was very different, and didn't sort of care for such sort of frivolities in life. She was happy to sort of just be herself, and wasn't so glamorous as your mum. But she could be if she wanted to be, but she just wasn't. It wasn't her way, and they were just so different. But they had an uncanny, that's a Scottish term. they had an unusual sort of a nice friendship. It didn't stop them from getting on, is what I'm being told.
Right. Yes.
But they were very different. And I've got 3 minutes left, so I'm just going to move forward with this. Now, what they're saying to me, first and foremost, is they want to say, they say, please make sure that you tell Dee that we love her. And, because that's important, they're saying. That's important that you know this. Because your mum says that there were times where she forgot to tell you. Would you understand that?
I do, yes.
And so it's very important that your mum is able to give that information to you. Second of all, they're saying that relationships haven't always been easy for you. Would you understand that? Yes. And they're saying that they know that it's caused you a lot of trauma and a lot of tears in your life. And they're saying that as you move forward, things. I've only got 2 minutes, so I'm really sorry that it's going to be very quick.
Okay.
But as you move forward, you're going to be. Life is going to be very different for you. And the reason why it's going to be different for you is because actually it's like the relationship traumas are behind you. No more are you having any more relationship traumas. As you move forward, life will be good.
Wonderful news.
And this is something that has plagued you most of your life through no fault of your own, I might add, through no fault of your own. And they're saying that they're so glad that, to be able to sort of pick you up and give you that good news about your life, how you're moving forward with success and happiness. Your mum is she's coming back to mum now, and she's saying to me, I wasn't always the perfect mum, because I was sometimes busy with my life, and being a mum, I wasn't that maternal, nurturing mum, that it was, that wasn't entirely me. And she's saying to me that she has big regrets for how she was when you were growing up. And she's saying to me that no longer will she be like that, for she will be the maternal mum that you've always craved for in your life from the spirit world.